So welcome in the first sharing focus on Erasmus program, and which can be taken like online continuation or online sharing of a project which is called Partnership and Project Making Event Idea Lab, which was applied by our organization Mission Reconnect to the Czech National Agency, and it is supported by Erasmus program. Now you might ask what is Erasmus program? So in this short presentation, we will go through the background of the program. We will take a look on European policies, because we think that these European policies are very necessary to kind of have understanding of them and able to be prepared quality projects. We will a little bit speak about the Erasmus vocabulary, so you get familiar with some of the terms, and we will a little bit take a look on several actions. If you are not new in Erasmus you may know that before now this Erasmus which is run from 2021 and it will be run until 2027, there were other programs like Erasmus 2014-2020 and Aptitude in Action. Just to explain that programs like Erasmus always runs several years in kind of packages. So now we are in this package of Erasmus+, and it's focused not just like on youth, but also school education, vocational education, and sport. And during like our partnership and networking event, we were also chatting with the people why Erasmus program exists, why there is some European program which gives people from the countries which are member states of the European Union, but also the countries which are not member states, but they are associated with the program. For example, coming from the Western Balkans or Caucasus, the Mediterranean, but even out of, let's say, Europe, this opportunity. And one of the answers were that it is a opportunity for intercultural learning, sharing practices, exploring, let's say, a little bit different realities, and of course for learning. On this slide, you see also some numbers related to budget. So if you never ever heard about Erasmus+, there is this question, so what is Erasmus+? And you simply see that it is an EU-supported program to support education, training, youth, and sport in Europe. And the program has priorities, which are strongly reflected in the program division. And also if after you are thinking what kind of project idea I can apply or what will be supported, it's always very important to have on mind these priorities. So we could, according or now, recently, what we were exploring, we focus always on exploring following policies: is the European Pillar of Social Rights, EU Youth Strategy. You might hear about it. There is a EU Youth Strategy which will run also until 2027. And also there is European Skills Agenda, or there is a special focus on sport on the European level. Now you are maybe wondering why to start from some policies when we speak about Erasmus+ and how to apply and prepare projects. According to our experiences, everything is very closely connected. If you understand the policies, you may after fit your applications to the priorities and objectives of the program. It means that you will be kind of meeting the priorities, and you may be strongly have a strong impact according to evaluators. So I think it's always very good to get to know a little bit the policies which shape or create a framework. Regarding this European Pillar of Social Rights, you can, of course, I just put a little bit of insight, and there are several of the goals. You might see in this sharing two of them: education, training, and lifelong learning, and gender equality. The other priorities you can easily find on Google. And I think that when you are kind of after thinking what to write in the first question of the forms for key action 1, why you want to do the project or how the project is linked to the afterwards objective and priorities. This can like give you the reason, because the project may be meeting one of these priorities. For example, it may be supported like inclusive and quality education or gender equality and other priorities. Very important, if especially you will be working in a youth application, is European Youth Strategy. There is a European strategy and 11 youth goals. Not sure like if maybe you heard about them, you are aware of them. And everything is connected with 3 words: engage, empower, and connect. You see again like the European youth goals listed. I will not be going through all of them, but I really would like to say that understanding that there is such a EU youth policy and that there are some these EU youth goals can be also like very good reason why you are writing your projects. It means that, for example, if your project is meeting one of these priorities, for example, focus on rural youth or active youth participation in Europe, is again meeting the priorities and objectives set in our program. And it's again, I think, considering to be more, let's say, it may be more supported for a funding. You can after like, go through all the priorities and see also if your youth organization it's meeting them. In the days or project now, which was organized in Small Czech City, we especially focus on the Green Europe and Green Erasmus. We also discuss like empowering of rural youth, because especially our partners from Romania were interested after developing projects addressing rural and rural young people coming from rural areas. And we also were addressing the topic of inclusive societies. And now we were after like pointing out that if you now speak about Erasmus, you will be basically mentioning very often 3 keywords. That's inclusion, digital, and green skills. That being said, is basically these 3 main priorities or focuses of Erasmus+. And if you will decide to apply for a project, or you already applied, for example, last year for the first deadline, you already know that you needed it to, for example, reflect how your project includes people with fewer opportunities, how your project, let's say, focuses on digital tools, and especially what makes your project green. And again, like it is something that if you are meeting these 3 focuses, priorities, your projects have better chances to success. In the organization where I work, Mission Reconnect, but also I'm working like a freelancer, we are like always saying that the policies shapes the applications, of course, and also they should like shape your answers after on the questions in the application, especially on the first one. So I would just conclude this part by again repeating the tip. If you are wondering like what's the explanation of your project, what you should write there, of course, that besides your motivation, like individual, the motivation of your young people, your youth worker or youth organization, and kind of pointing out that the project reflects some of the policies is, I think, very, very important and very positively evaluated. Now, regarding the vocabulary. In the event in Prešerov, we had experienced participants, for example, representing Georgia. And we had also participants which were a little bit new in the field. And one of the activities which we did was that we, before like really talking about Erasmus+, we created our vocabulary. So you can now just take a look on the screen and see how many of these terms you understand. And I would say that if you do understand these terms, you are experienced persons, or definitely it's not your first presentation about Erasmus. If you have some doubts about these terms, like no worries, I will now a little bit dive in. So if you are ready, one of the first one, there is this shortcut RCA, and basically is, I always say in very easy word, that if you imagine how the program is managed, this is the main office, like just for maybe this explanation. It is an executive agency located in Brussels, and they do manage Erasmus Plus program on the, let's say, centralized level. They directly manage some of the actions. It means that for some of the actions you directly apply to the ads, and afterwards they also, of course, they manage the process of applications, monitoring. They also organize different events to promote these actions. But it would be very difficult if there is just like one agency like in Brussels. That's why the program gets decentralized. And now, like if you now hear for first time about Erasmus Plus, and you might come from Czech Republic like me, or maybe you are representing Romania, or in the project we had, for example, also North Macedonia, we had also there Serbia, or we had there Latvia and Lithuania. You might know that in your countries are so-called national agencies. After online, you can easily Google a list of national agencies, and you can see who is your national agency. But what does it mean? If you imagine that executive agency is on top, national agencies are this, let's say, bodies which are managing the program in your countries or national level. They have different functions. Firstly, they are providing information about the program. You might know that they organize also some information events. Secondly, they also manage the program. It means in the sense of application and giving the grant. So it means that you apply to your national agency for a support. They, let's say, are responsible for, like, after managing the process of evaluation, granting, monitoring, everything, basically from the moment when you submit until the moment when you submit your final report. Another also important role of national agencies is that they also are responsible for the quality of the program and its promotion. So that's the national agencies. But how we talk and observe is not so simple to just have an executive agency and national agencies. And somewhere between also it's a Salto. You might hear about Salto Youth website. And I will now stop the sharing, because I also would like to show you Salto After Youth website. And you may be like wondering, like, what is like Salto? So Salto, yeah, firstly, it is a like website with different opportunities. You can find there like training calendar. You can find there like sources of different information and other stuff. But also Saltos are offices, let's say, another bodies in the structure. And we have, for example, Salto for Training and Cooperation, Salto Eastern Europe and Caucasus, Inclusion and Diversity, or Youth Participation and Information, how I say. So imagine that there is an executive agency on the top, national agencies, and also somewhere there are like Saltos. And why it is so important? Because we had, for example, organization from Georgia. And you might think, okay, so organization from Georgia, they are not part of the European Union. Nevertheless, they are included in the program. And they can also send, for example, volunteers. This organization from Georgia had right now, they are like hosting Czech volunteer. And how it is possible? Because Salto, Eastern, like focusing on Caucasus and Eastern Europe, is kind of giving them the possibility, giving them the accreditation, and is after following the process. So if you are now coming from non-EU countries and like you are wondering how it works, I'm now also sharing the Salto, just the website, where you can really, how I say, find these training calendars, you can register your organization, but especially, for example, why I like Salto like a youth worker and trainer, there are many different tools which you can use. So it's tools how to make energize the tool booklets. They have also their materials on Salto, how to organize projects, and many other things, which I think is very cool. And of course, that through Salto, you can find also much more information about like Erasmus Plus, even done on, of course, higher level than we are sharing here. So follow Salto, and I may go back to back to the vocabulary. So if you know what is executive agency, national agency, and Salto, you may get the idea. So okay, so let's do it and let's get involved, like an organization in Erasmus Plus, and where to start. It's basically very simple. There is one key website where you first need to register your organization, or in some cases it can be also a non-formal group of young people. Please do check the process of your national agencies. And why you would say to register? Because your organization in the Erasmus Plus, let's say, talk needs to have two numbers. It's called PIC number or ID number. Like, don't think like that it's something very huge. It's just basically that you register your organization in online like platforms, and when you register the organizations in the online platform, I will also share the screen. You get like your number of identification of the organization. It's kind of confirmation that your organization is really existing. And here I'm on the main web page, like it's called Erasmus and European Solidarity Corps. Basically here, if you want to start your journey to get registered like an organization or to apply your projects, this is the site to start, and the site will take you step by step. So here it's explanation, why do you need a registered organization, how to do it, yeah? After, if you can also check, we also find it out during the event, that please also check if by accident before some years somebody else in your organization didn't make some registration, because it may happen. And of course, when are you registered and the deadline is coming, most of the deadlines will be now in October, 4th of October. Here you also on this website, you find the opportunities. It means that this system will bring you to the system of applications, which you can, like after here, see it for school education, higher education, youth or adult education. And and this is the beginning of Erasmus Plus. So yeah, you learn about the structure, you get kind of registered, which takes like, it's not very long process. You just need like know the key information about your organization, when it was funded. You need to have this status, like the legal document, and after you can just click and start to work on your applications. Yeah, so this is, and before we also say that some of the actions are managed by executive agency, and from that side you can just after very easily go to the like website of executive agency in Brussels and learn how to get the grant like from them to Creative Europe, Erasmus Plus, or this European Solidarity Corps. So that's like basically in few words the way how you can like do like Erasmus Plus projects if you would like to like continue your journey, also not just like participating and attending the events, but also by like applying projects. What I also would like to point out is that the Erasmus Plus program has many different actions, and some of them are, let's say, not open for every country, but you may wonder how it works. And if you are familiar with Erasmus Plus, you know that before we always use these terms like a program country and partner country, which help us to orientate. But now with the new program is, let's say, there is different vocabulary. You see this list now. we have something here what is called this EU member states and fair countries associated to the program. That's like on this which activity in Pshero we had, for example, Serbia, North Macedonia, and Turkey. And after we have like third countries not associated to the program. You see, for example, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, or Armenia, which we had as well, Georgia. We also planned to have like Algeria, but unfortunately, like it didn't work out like with the visa process, because also like in this Erasmus Plus program, you need to deal with some practicalities when you organize your projects. But about that, I will talk in some two other upcoming meetings when I will a little bit get insights to youth exchanges and training courses. And why it is so important? I like to know if your country is this EU member state country or associated or not associated with the program, because it also kind of influence your way to which actions you can apply. So if I should now just a little bit sum it up, we have the structure of the program, which is executive agency, national agencies, and Salto, somewhere in the, like, let's say, middle. After, for like applying or like even being a partner, you need to get registered, so you can easily send the other organizations your OID or PIC number. And also you need to check like to which actions you can apply, because that's also very important. And now, like, where I will, if you are asking, okay, so I'm just receiving so much information is not very clear to me, so what I should do next. Basically, I'm encouraging you to go to the in or activity in Pshero. Somebody used the word like a Bible of the Erasmus Plus, which is called the Erasmus Plus Guide. I will also now share my screen. Yeah, this is Erasmus Plus Guide. You see that it has 419 pages, but okay, I can also admit it that I never read it all. I read the pages related to the specific actions in which I participated or I was interested to apply. Why this Erasmus Plus Guide? You can Google it and download it. It's so essential. It really takes you like through the program. It gives you what we already shared a little bit about the objectives and the priorities. It gives you understanding about all the different actions. And also it gives you like understanding what is possible regarding technicalities. It means where are the set deadlines, how many countries you need, how many days can be the activities. Like if you have basically any question about like Erasmus Plus, the answer is in this program guide. I just open it on like pages related to the I'm now just going through. So for example, you have always the title, and after you have always like explain everything like about this concrete action. So you can always like know what are the specific priorities. For example, here I am in youth exchanges. How many organizations, how I say, can participate, who is eligible to take part, how long it can be the project, where you can apply, and anything else, how long it can be, how many people participant it needs to be involved. Yeah, so here you also have to find in this program guide the way how the project can be like evaluated. Yeah, so that was the key document. And if you maybe wonder how after all this program is managed, there is so-called Beneficiary Module, which is another, let's say, huge online system where every organization can see the projects in which you are participating, or it can also see the projects which are you currently implementing. We will go through it a little bit like in upcoming also Zoom meetings. I will now go back to my presentation, and I have here also some other keywords which I would like to just shortly introduce. European Distance Calculator. Just put it in Google and see. You will have to understand how budget for so-called travel cost is done on the level of the Erasmus Plus program. Beneficiary module I mentioned. Here we spoke about this division on the countries. And very important towards Erasmus is also dissemination and visibility. It means how this program is visible and how we disseminate what we learn. And this online course basically is our way of Missionary Connect, how to make the program visible. We will share these videos on YouTube. And also we would like to, through these videos and posts, like share the knowledge which we learn. So we take it also like a way of dissemination of the results from the activity we just finished in Preserve. Here in this presentation, which will be after available to download on our like website, you find like this review of the main bodies, what I spoke, the executive agency, the national agencies, the Saltos, and also the other terms. Now, just a little bit like to the structure. If somebody, for example, asks you, so let's apply and I want to do review key action 1. Or maybe you can receive an email, so are you in key action 2? And you are wondering, okay, what does it mean? So tip 1, number 1, go to the Erasmus Plus guide and check it. If I can put it in, let's say, very simplified way, let's say that key action 1 are, let's say, more simple projects. It can be one activity. For example, you meet with people for 6 days, and after you work, you share your knowledge. And key action 2, it goes, let's say, to upper level. It's a long-term projects, and you also work to create in let's say, in the vocabulary of Erasmus Plus, so-called like intellectual output. So there are some concrete, tangible, let's say, results. Yeah. So if you are now wondering, oh my goodness, like what to do if I'm completely new, for you, I would say it's like the way around key action 1 to apply for some youth exchange training course. And after, you can move the other level. You find all the structure, of course, in this Erasmus Plus guide. I just put them like a little bit also on this slide so you can see. And I will just point out a little bit about each of them before we close it today. So in key action 1, there is something what is called youth exchange. You can put it on just YouTube and see what will give it to you. You will see like a lot of videos of including young people, because that's what youth exchange is. It is a specific action, which is especially for young people. There is a limit for the participants 30 years old. The youngsters can be 18, but they can be also 17 or even younger. The main point of youth exchanges is to bring like really in one place a group of young people, that they kind of get this first experience of being together, learning from each other, and even, for example, communicating in English. Once, when you feel that maybe you want to do something else, or you are a bit older, 30, there's projects called Mobility of Youth Workers. There are different kind of actions, for example, trainings, networking. And for these actions, it's for people which work with young people, and you can go on international level to take part in some activity to more develop your skills and competencies. For example, our partnership and project making event was an action when we come for 6 days about and building our partnerships. After, there is also something like youth participation activities, which gives you opportunity to work locally and also internationally. That I would say that it's very cool level if you are already active in your local community and you would like to continue to be active, or you look for some new ways to do it. And after, if you take another step, and there is something what connects the small actions, or not small, a little more simple here in the first steps in Erasmus with other. It's called small scale partnerships. It's like for newcomers. So even if you don't have experiences, you can apply there. And it's this bridging. We will also have a specific meeting about it. And after, if you really go up, it's capacity building projects or cooperative partnerships, also under key action 2, which I didn't mention on the slide. I think it slipped my attention. So yeah, this was like just very kind of, not so short, it's already half an hour left, introduction of the program. And again, why we are doing it? Because we, Missionary Connect, hosted like international event in Psirov, which is like city in Czech Republic. You made put also use a Google if you are wondering where we are located. we brought people from 10 different countries to work together on like sharing about how it looks in their countries, what issues they have, and especially we focus on creating some new project ideas and building the partnerships, because also like key element of this project are partnerships. It means that you cannot make any projects without having a partner, like somebody which work with you together, which will send you participants, will be included with you. And maybe it's still very, I don't know, like strange, and you cannot imagine how it looks. So I will now for first time share my screen. And this is just like a little bit few slides about how such activity can look like. So this is us in Prešerov. Yeah, you see people in a working room, and here, for example, they do activity which is called speed dating. It means that they have a limited time to speak with each other about their backgrounds, their experiences in the field of youth. After I will show some another picture. It's about talking, sharing, and experiencing. So again, I will share. Here we have participants from Latvia and Turkey. And this was a session when we talk about the project cycle under Erasmus Plus and what needs to happen in every cycle. So also the participants are very much involved in the activities. It's not just about one person sharing some knowledge, but the participants take part. If you would like to know more about Erasmus, I really encourage you to go online or to Google your national agency, to go on YouTube and to put Youth Exchange, and you will see what everything happened. If you also think that this sharing of me representing Czech organization Mission Reconnect and sharing some lessons which we learned during our partnership and networking event Idea Lab, supported by Czech National Agency and Erasmus Plus program, it's viable. I invite you to all 3 other meetings. You can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, where it will be announced where the meetings will be. Another one will be about Youth Exchange. After we will have about mobilities and also the small cooperative partnerships. I am wishing you a nice day and really looking maybe forward to your comments, but especially encouraging you to check out this information which are around you about Erasmus Plus and just give it a try.